What's going on, everybody? American Football Network here with another video today. And today we're bringing you guys a kind of one of these videos that we're going to start putting out, looking at what these coaches have been doing recruiting, what these teams have been doing. And we're starting with the Colorado Buffaloes and Deion Sanders, man. He's making some huge moves over at Colorado. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Help me reach that goal of 1,150 subs by the end of December. We're about 24 away, so let's get going on that. Let's hit that goal. Appreciate all the support we've got. I think we've gained like 33 subscribers just within the last week. So that's been great. Let's keep that going and keep this momentum going into bowl season. We're going to be doing a bunch of bowl streams. Got one coming up tonight, UCLA, Boise State. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you won't miss it. Also, check out the description where you'll find links to our shop. We got some cool merch just dropped over there. Check that out. Our podcast, our website, and our college football roundup channel. So check all that good stuff out. But let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So, Deion Sanders over at Colorado in his first season, the Buffaloes only went 4-8. Little disappointing. They won their first three and then just won from there. One more game after that, they got killed. In a few games, they got stomped by Oregon. Washington State blew them out. I think that game was like 56-14. So it was a rough end to the season for them as they started out very strong, but did not finish very well, which I mean was to be expected. Colorado won one game the year before. Dion, I mean, he brought in a bunch of guys, but just I mean, it's hard to take a whole roster and turn it from 1-11 to winning 8 games, especially when you're playing in the best conference in football this season, which is the Pac-12, and really unarguably has been the Pac-12. They played a juggernaut of a schedule, and they didn't even really face the worst of it in Washington. They didn't even play them. So that definitely could have been worse for them because I mean there's no telling how bad Washington would have beat them had they played. Um, it would not have ended up being good. I mean, you look at what Washington State did to them, beat them like I said 56-14. But Dion said over this offseason that the college football playoff is an expectation for this next season. And with it expanding to 12, is it possible for them to make it? I mean, I think it is definitely possible, especially with them moving to the Big 12. I mean, they definitely have a shot at winning the Big 12. They got a lot of stuff that they need to fix up, though. But with them moving to the Big 12, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, all they got to do is win it. It doesn't matter what their record is. If they win the Big 12, they're in with the automatic bid. So again, it's a real possibility that they could. But you look at the moves that he's made this offseason. We'll start with the recruiting that he's done as far as incoming freshmen for the 2024 class. You look at Jordan Seaton. He's a unanimous 5-star all the way around in all the recruiting spots on 3, 247, ESPN, and Rivals. He is a 5-star in all of them. You look, he's as high as number 6. When it comes to on 3, they have him at number 6, number 1 in his position, number 4 in his state. You look at 247, they got him 31 nationally. ESPN has him 20th nationally, and Rivals has him 13th nationally. All of them have him number 1 at his position, except for 247. They have him at 2, and he's top 5 in his state in all of them. So I mean, he's a beast, and that's a good pickup for the Buffaloes because that was one of the biggest problems was that offensive line. Now, is he going to be ready to just come in and play and make a huge difference right off the bat? We'll have to see because with a lot of these guys that come in, some of them are ready to play straight out of high school, some of them aren't. So it'll really just depend with him and how he is and if he's ready to just come in and make an impact. And he's not the only guy they're going to need on this offensive line, but definitely a step in the right direction for them. They get another big commit, the wide receiver out of Silsbee, Texas, wide receiver Draylon Miller. He is a 4-star all the way around on 3. The average rank for him is 67th nationally. On 3 has him 161 nationally. 247 has him at 67. ESPN has him at 86, and Rivals has him at 39. Then you look at Cam McKell, the cornerback out of Statesboro, Georgia. He's a 4 star, 89th is his average, 75th on 3, 79th, 247, 143 on ESPN, and 243 on Rivals. You look at Brandon Davis Swain, the defensive lineman. Again, these linemen on both sides of the football are the biggest pickups for Colorado because that's where they really struggled and lost pretty much most of their games is they just could not hang with the other teams in the trenches. And that kind of, I mean, I believe Shador Sanders was the most sacked quarterback in college football this year. So that, I mean, that tells you all you need to know right there. If he wasn't the most, he was definitely, I mean, top five. But you look at Brandon Davis Swan, 284th in the country, 4 star. On three doesn't have him ranked nationally. They have him as a 3 star. 247 Sports doesn't have him ranked nationally, but they do have him as a 4 star. ESPN, he's at 230. He's a 4 star. Rivals has him at 100, and he is a 4 star over there as well. You look at Isaiah Walker Jr., um, offensive tackle on three has him 35th. He is a 3 star. 247 Sports. This can't be right. They all got him 3 stars, but ranked like in the top 10, top 40. But they got him as a 3 star. So he's a 3 star offensive tackle commit again. Got to get those bodies in for the offensive line. He's a bigger guy too, 6'4", 310. So that helps because they were also a lot smaller in the trenches. You got Zakaro Lewis, 3 star wide receiver from Tampa, Florida. He's going to be a big get for them. Just another offensive weapon for them. You got Montre Bradford, the edge, 3 star. Eric Brantley Jr., the edge, 3 star from Valdosta, Georgia. You got Omar White from Valdosta, Georgia, another 3 star. You got Micah Welch from Milledgeville, Georgia. He's a 3 star running back. Gavin Layton, 3 star offensive tackle from Rochester, Minnesota. So, again, Deion really went after some more offensive weapons in the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the football, which I think are really good pickups because I think that's what they really needed most was guys on the line of scrimmage, and they showed that through the games. They just could not compete in the trenches, and that just kind of ruined them in the other assets of the game. Is they just weren't able to really battle in the trenches like some of these other teams were, and again, if Shador Sanders can stay off of his back, he's a great quarterback. I mean, he's one of the most accurate passers in the country. Not to mention he's got weapons all over the field to throw the ball to. So that's what Colorado really needs to focus on is keeping him upright, and he can lead them to a good season for sure. Then you look at the transfers that Dion got. So he has 10 hard commits for recruiting. You look at 10 transfers for them. They got quarterback Destin Wade. He's listed as a 3 star transfer off of 247 from Kentucky. You also got his twin brother Keaton Wade. He's also a 3 star transfer. The edge from Kentucky. So again, on the D line, I don't think Destin Wade's going to be a huge factor. I mean, he'll be a nice backup QB if Sanders gets hurt if they can't keep him upright. But I don't think he'll get a whole lot of time in. But Keaton Wade for sure a good pickup. Just another body there on the defensive line. Probably the best pickup or one of the best pickups, in my opinion, for them is the wide receiver Will Shepard from Vanderbilt. He's a 4 star transfer on 247. I think this dude is going to be a beast for him. You pair him with Travis Hunter on the outside, and he's going to be an absolute monster. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. He's turns those 50-50 balls into 80-20 balls, 90-10 balls. So, I mean, he's going to be good for Colorado. Give Shador Sanders another just great target to throw the ball to. I love the pickup there and the fit for Will Shepard. Then they get offensive tackle from Indiana, Matthew Bedford. He's listed as a 3 star transfer, 6'6", 314 pounds. Going to be a good pickup there on that offensive line. Probably work his way into the rotation in some form or fashion, but another good pickup for them. And another guy from Indiana on the offensive line, interior lineman, Khalil Benson, another 3 star transfer for him. He's 6'6", 325. Another big body in there. They're really hammering they're really hammering these offensive linemen. Another big weapon picked up on the offense, Chamon Mateer from Cincinnati, tight end, 6'5", 248, listed as a 4 star transfer. That is a big get for them. He's going to be a very good tight end for them. You look at Justin Mayers, another interior offensive lineman from UTEP, 6'3", 309. He's listed as a three-star transfer. Was developed a little bit at UTEP. I imagine Colorado wants to develop him a little bit more and work him into the rotation, get him some good playing time. He's going to be a solid player for him on that line of scrimmage. Then you see they also pick up Terrell Timmons Jr., the transfer wide receiver from NC State. He's listed as a three-star. He's 6'2", 195. Another big body out there. Probably going to be looking at your fourth, maybe fifth option at receiver. But still a very talented, good get as a plug and play there as kind of a rotational piece on that wide receiver spot. And, if something were to happen with Travis Hunter where he gets injured or something like that, it's definitely a guy you feel good about putting in to the lineup. Then you look at Tyler Johnson, the guard from Houston, four-star transfer. I would imagine he's going to come in and play immediately. 6'5", 320. I imagine he's going to be one of those guys that you pull out of the transfer portal and they go straight into your starting lineup. He is a beast on the offensive line, and I think that he's going to really help this Colorado team out a lot. I love the pickup here for Colorado and Deion. I think that he's one of those sure pieces that you need on the offensive line. And you look, the last one, you Kerry Walker from UConn, interior lineman, again, three-star transfer. He's making some moves. Deion is picking up a lot of bodies on that offensive line, especially. That was by far the biggest weakness. I like the pickups there. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a little bit of wing game here, just run through their schedule, and with these additions, see how I think Colorado can do next year. So here's the schedule up for them. In week one, they played North Dakota, or North Dakota State. I think they probably win this game, but this is not one to be slept on, especially considering the fact that North Dakota State is very good in the trenches. So Colorado better have that offensive line shored up by then, or else they could be in for a close game. But I do think Colorado wins that one. So there's one win on the schedule now. You look at Nebraska week two going on the road. I mean, they beat Nebraska last year in Boulder. I think that was like the first sellout Colorado had in forever. I think that is definitely a winnable game. But who knows? Because Matt Rule's also making some moves, especially if he gets Dylan Raiola, the big time quarterback, to come to him over Georgia. I, I I don't really know what to do with this game as of today. It's still very early. I'm gonna give it a half a win there. So we're sitting at 1.5 right now. They go on the road to Colorado State. This is going to be a tough one, especially with them going on the road. You look at what this game was last year, but I think that Colorado is going to have that big chip on their shoulder. I think Colorado State could too, but I think Colorado is just going to have that killer mentality. I think they're going to go in there and get a win. So we're sitting at 2.5 now. I think their first just outright loss so far on the season is going to be at Arizona. Obviously, the rest of these games have not been a set date yet, but I think they will lose at Arizona. I just think the Wildcats they had a great season this year, and I think that they're just going to build on it again going into next year. Delora, very good quarterback. You go on the road to Arizona Stadium in Tucson, Arizona. I think the Wildcats get a win there. So still sitting at 2.5 there. You get Utah at home again. I think this is going to be a loss. I think Utah has just an outstanding defense. They're going to get Cameron Rising back this year for them at quarterback. He was out all of last season, never played at all, so that'll be a good pickup for them in this one. But I mean, you look, they played November 25th. Utah beat them 23-17 with a backup quarterback. I just think the way that Utah is on those lines of scrimmage, I don't think Colorado is going to be able to make up that in um to to I guess they're not in schedule, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to get that offensive line suited up and ready to play that physical of a game against Utah. So I think they lose both of those games, the Utah and the Arizona, outright. So still sitting at 2.5, but I think they will beat the Baylor Bears. I don't really like where Baylor's at as a program right now. I think they have a lot of issues, and they're going to be bringing in two new coordinators. So I think Colorado, as of right now, they're probably better. You look at Oklahoma State. I'm gonna give them another half win. Don't really know what Oklahoma State's gonna be next year. I would imagine they lose some pretty big pieces off of that team. Nobody really expected them to come in and be this good this year. either. So who knows what happens with Gundy? But I'm gonna give them a half win. So we're sitting at 4 right now. They get Kansas State. I'm gonna go half on that one. It's at home. I don't really know how Avery Johnson's gonna be taking over Kansas State, but I think Kansas State is a very good team and will probably be a pretty solid team next year as well. So as of today, I'm gonna go a half win on the Kansas State one. So we're sitting at 4.5. I think that moves to 5.5 against Cincinnati. I think that they beat Cincinnati. Um, I just don't see the Bearcats really being able to do much against Colorado. I think Colorado is just too much for Cincinnati to handle. So I'm going with the Buffaloes. So we are at 5.5. I think they I think they probably lose outright at Kansas. I just think Kansas, especially with Jalen Daniels, if he's healthy, especially depending on when you get this game too. If this is a game earlier in the season, then definitely a loss. But I think that they lose this game, so we're still at 5.5. But I think that number jumps to 7.5. I think you beat Texas Tech. They're just in shambles right now. They're a mess. You win that game. I think you beat UCF, even though it's on the road. I just think that they're a similarly built team. I think Colorado is the better team. So sitting at 7.5. Again, I think they could win 8 or 9 games on this schedule for sure. But as I sit today, I think that they go 7.5. Their win total in Vegas is 6. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think Colorado's win total is going to look like next season. How many games you think they win? If you're taking the over or the under on their win total, I think Deion's making some big moves out there in Boulder, and I think give it 2 or 3 years, and they're going to be a scary team out there, especially with this guy saying that he plans to stay at Colorado for life and plans to retire there. So it'll be definitely something very interesting to watch. But that's going to wrap up today's video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment those thoughts and opinions down below. Again, let me know the win totals in the comment section. I appreciate all of you guys watching today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see